This is a discussion, a philosophical discussion on the theme called memory. This is also a philosophical and theological reflection based on the genocide in Sri Lanka. Before the discussion proper, I would like to introduce this book, Philosophy of the Human Person, which is written by James B. Ranchman. He is a Jesuit priest. My teacher, or rather our teacher in this college who taught us anthropology, he used this book as a model book. So I am also quoting certain things for this discussion particularly. The concept of memory as a philosophical term comes under the category of the subject called anthropology. Memory has something to do with the reality in view of attaining truth. It is the main goal of the memory. In fact, memory also makes authentic images and it leads to a creative fantasy, but basically memory avoids the fantasy and allows to stay in reality. In this book there is a famous statement under this theme called memory. In the book of James Ranchman, S.J., it is said that the past as past is the formal object of memory. Now, with this background, I would like to proceed to the real theme, or rather the context in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, there was a civil war for last 30 years. It came to a climax, killing and assassinating many Tamil civilians and bringing out sad memories to all the Tamil people. This was a struggle only meant for the most oppressed class in my country. Now, even after war, there is a process of eliminating the name, culture, the language and identity of the Tamil civilians. Actually, this is the main focus of this theme, because now there is a process taking place in Sri Lanka. It is the process to eliminate the word Tamil or the Tamil people, their culture, their innocent activities. So it is because of that I chose this particular philosophical term, and with this we will proceed accordingly. The word Tamil is an obstacle for the Sinhala nation today. This emerged to the minds of the Sinhala nation as a result of war paradigm introduced by Mahinda Rajapaksa regime. How did the previous government bring sad memories to the country, particularly to the Tamil people? It was through extrajudicial killings, disappearances, arbitrary detention, torture, rape, sexual abuses, and so on and so forth. There are also so many who are traumatized due to being eyewitness to the war and having family members killed and made to disappear after being detained by military, being admitted to the hospitals, etc. There is no proper liberation for the people who live in North to speak out the truth, continue their religious activities, and work for the peace. Though we have a new government with the presidency of Maithripala Sirisena, who was supported to gain power by Tamil people, the situation of the Tamil people is still the same, and there is no change at all. I would like to draw your attention on this particular point. Last year, 8th of January 2015, people could chase Mahinda Rajapaksa's regime, and they appointed a new president, that is Maithripala Sirisena. But even Maithripala Sirisena as a president, as the leader of the country, he was unable to fulfill certain innocent demands of the Tamil people. Still, the particular concentration has not been given. So there is no justice taking place even with the arrival of the new government. So still the problem continues, the struggle continues. Today, the freedom of the ordinary Tamil civilians, including the Tamils who work in both tea and rubber estates, is highly violated willingly, consciously and voluntarily. Once again, I would like to elaborate this point. The word called, because there is a term always used by many writers, journalists, in many public papers, in general assemblies, the word estate Tamils. There is no word called estate Tamils. There are Tamil people or Tamil civilians who work in tea plantations, tea estates and rubber estates. So I strongly condemn this so-called word estate Tamils, because it is a block to our struggle. The last war phase which took place in the country was not an accidental event. It was a deliberate action. It was well planned politically, and Rajapaksa regime brought out a lot of sad memories to Tamil civilians. Rajapaksa regime tried to erase the memory and the history and the truth of the innocent Tamil civilians, because the Sri Lankan government wants the recognition of the unitary state. According to this agenda, the existence of the Tamil people is an obstacle. For this concept, many religious leaders, Buddhist extremists, many political parties directly and openly extended their moral support. And here I would like to mention the religious leaders, especially in the Catholic Church, in many Christian communities, and then Buddhists, of course, even the Muslims. They also in a way promoted and accepted all the hidden agendas of Rajapaksa regime. They could have gone for an open dialogue, or rather they could have started a dialogue with the other parties, especially with many Tamil communities, but they didn't. They just accepted the war paradigm. So they, in a way, directly or indirectly, they promoted the war paradigm in Sri Lanka. In the book of Reichman, it is said the commemorative act is related to awareness of the time. Human memory cannot be denied at any cost. It is always linked with the intellect. Memory makes a possible awareness of time. The events that occur in a time and space are important for memory. Memory helps us to know who we are. Our memory with a particular act or event leads to a personal evaluation. As Tamil peoples, actually they also have a personal evaluation, because in 2009, in a particular time and space, there were certain major events that took place. So that is their personal evaluation, and they have a right to evaluate this particular memory, or rather this particular history, because ultimately that is their own experience, or rather that is their own evaluation. So they have a right to do. Leading regarding the latter part of war, it is clear the memory of the Tamil people is permanent. What they are today, it is because of that past. It was a journey. It was their exodus. And they lost their lives, resources, properties, etc. They have lost their identity. Tamil civilians were forced to receive that memories, because all Tamil civilians subjectively took part in that action. Once again, I would like to discuss on this point, because it was not the Tamil people who decided to go through this particular war phase. It is the Sri Lankan government or the previous government. They decided on behalf of the Tamil people. They decided that there should be a war paradigm to settle this problem. So it was not a paradigm, or rather it was not particularly an act which was promoted by the Tamil movements or the struggle of the Tamil people. Why do we recall that memory? We recall the memory not to revenge, but to reconcile, because Tamil people have a right to recall their memory at any time and whenever they want, because they are the owners of that memory. True reconciliation will appear if we only recall the memory. No any human agency can take away that memory. Philosophically speaking, it is the human beings who are capable of recalling the memory, not animals. In the case of Tamil people, the previous government killed not only the Tamil people, but also the beautiful culture of the people. They killed the right of the Tamils to live in the land called Sri Lanka. Now, why do we recall that memory? I would like to discuss on this theme once again. There are two major events. First one, let us consider the particular act of South Africa, especially the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which was promoted by Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. They also recalled their memory. They had a history, so they recalled it. The truth and the reconciliation was possible once they were recalling their memory, once they were going back to that particular event, or while they were evaluating only, they were able to reconcile with the other communities, with the white community. And at the same time, recently, last year in 2015, two religious priests and a nun, they were having a sort of a trial. They were captured by a group and they were tortured by that particular people, and right in front of Pope Francis they brought out this testimony. I remember one Franciscan priest was sexually abused. Actually, he had to remove his clothes, and those people who captured that Franciscan priest, they did a lot of things, questioning. He had to go through a certain amount of trials and tribulations just to witness to the gospel. So, having listened to these testimonies, Pope Francis said, "You have no right to forget this particular memory or other history." Why do I say like that? Now Pope is speaking. He said, the memory is to reconcile, not to revenge. So, basing myself or basing this discussion on these events, in the context of Sri Lanka, why the memory of the Tamil civilians is very important. It is because to reconcile with each other, to reconcile with all the communities, to reconcile with all the people in Sri Lanka. Memory conserves the meaning of all experiences. We receive experience both negatively and positively. It has something to do with one's reasoning power also. Reasoning capacity leads to reality. Memory collects the events of a life into a unity. It is the power to unify the past events, because memory assures the continuity of my I. Those events, or rather experiences, are stored in our inner consciousness. It is the self-awareness of the memory. So, if we elaborate or rather analyze this point, Tamil people also have their collective conscience, and they have their self-awareness throughout this, throughout their memories, throughout the history. So this collective conscience is very important when we evaluate, especially at the latter part of the war. Many things happened against Tamil people, against the Tamil culture, against even that Tamil language, because today it has been the most oppressed language in our country, in Sri Lanka. Sinhalese, whenever they came across the ordinary Tamils were labeled as terrorists or tigers. In Sinhala we call Kotiya or Koti. But that was not their unique identity. It was not the real memory for them. Their inner consciousness speaks out something different from what they were labeled as terrorists. Tamil civilians were not accepted in the country, and their rights were deliberately violated by the unitary state. Now this particular word called Kotiya, or if we put in the term of terrorists, at the very beginning of this struggle, they never came as tigers, they never came as terrorists. It was a later development, but I would say it is because that the Sinhalese couldn't understand the real collective conscience of the Tamil people, that Tamil people were always called terrorists. Whenever you come across publicly or even on the road, sometimes even any public assembly, even in our writings, even in all our expressions, we call them simply terrorists. Tamils are terrorists. So this was the impression was given. But it was not their original identity, because they are also civilians of the same country. They are also Sri Lankans. I wish to reflect this concept of memory with a theological background. Memory, when it goes with sacramental theory, it gives the genuine reflections. This is the I-thou relationship which was introduced by Martin Buber. If the same memory goes with instrumental theory, it will destroy the meaning of the concept. That is called I-it relationship. Now, Martin Buber's concept is very important when we put the term in theology called sacramental theory. If we understand in this line, because my presence depends on my brother and sister, but when it comes to the instrumental theory, or rather I-it relationship, it doesn't make any sense. What Hitler did was, or many other dictators, they did something that reflected I-it relationship or instrumental theory. So when we consider the particular act in Sri Lanka, it has something to do with I-it relationship. That is the instrumental relationship or instrumental theory. There is no any sacramental theory regarding the work of Rajapaksa regime. So man has a marvelous power of remembering the memory. Nobody can deny that philosophical truth. It is a human power. It will remain as far as we rely on the truth. According to the theme of this topic, Tamil civilians' struggle will therefore continue to recall their memory. It is their moral right, it is their innocent action, and it is to reconcile with each other. So as I explained in this discussion, the memory of the Tamil people relies entirely on the concept called reconciliation. It is not to revenge from anybody else. So we need that memory to go through this struggle to reconcile with each other. It could be even applied in the context of any innocent struggle. So therefore, memory, as it is appearing in the philosophical. So man has a marvelous power of remembering the memory. Nobody can deny that philosophical truth. It is a human power. It will remain as far as we rely on the truth. According to the theme of this topic, Tamil civilians' struggle will therefore continue to recall their memory. It is their moral right. It is their innocent action. And it is to reconcile with each and everyone. So as we discussed throughout this discussion, the memory of the Tamil people goes in terms of reconciliation. There is no any other hidden agenda. The one and only agenda is to reconcile with all the communities of Sri Lanka. There is no any hidden purpose to revenge from anybody. Thank you.